All right, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I have a special guest. You might have seen him before. This is Danny Swole, a.k.a. the big buff guy on Instagram that everybody loves. But on Mental Health Over Everything, we're trying to really have a message here where we're helping people out that are somewhat struggling or have been through any type of past traumas. You know, it could be PTSD related, anything veteran related, or just, you know, it can be a simple relationship that you never got over or you're kind of going through now, a breakup, anything. But I want to introduce Danny. Danny, thank you for being here again.
Hello and salutations, everyone. Pleasure to be here. It's good to see you.
Don't mind this.
It's okay. It's not a beer, I promise, everyone. Ooh, wow. Your tongue does wonders, huh? Anyways, yeah, it's good to be here back in Jersey. Visiting every 4 weeks, see my girlfriend out here, and it's definitely cool to connect with you. Like I said, I've been trying to make this work for a while since our last time together,
For sure.
which was awesome. I mean, even last time when we had our group discussion with our mental health talks, it was really good. I thought it was awesome.
There was a lot of benefit behind it, and I've been noticing that just a lot of people have been reaching out since I've been doing this type of stuff, and there's been a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure you get this all the time, that are just, you know, saying, hey, you know, you really helped me expressing yourself, either being vulnerable or talking to other people about, you know, mental health struggles. And it's really the message here is that, you know, we're all humans here. You know, we might look at social media and say, hey, you know, Danny Swole's got ginormous arms, a beautiful girlfriend, he's tatted, he's got everything going. But in reality, sometimes, you know, you have your down days, and sometimes you have great days, worse days. And it's the same thing with me. You know, I travel the world and it looks like I live the best life, but sometimes I'm extremely stressed out. And some people don't know how to cope with stuff like that. And I've just noticed over your content over the years, and when you've been really trying to tackle the mental health stuff, it inspired me to really venture out and work on myself, number one. But number two, you know, you put a vulnerable side out there, you know, being this big, muscly guy. You're the prodigy of just like being, you know, this alpha, and the fact that you can step aside and say, hey, listen, you know, I'm definitely an alpha man, but at the same time, I have feelings I want to express. And that's the huge message there.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of hit it on the head with that one with the alpha male. Like, you know, I will say, like, over the years, especially with fitness, it's helped me build my confidence because I didn't have any of it before. And I think I taught myself how to have confidence. And over the years, as people have seen it grow and social media, all that crap, and people mistake for cockiness, and it upsets me because I worked so hard to build confidence myself where I could walk around into a room and not worry about a single thing that's said, even though I know there's things that are being said.
For sure.
However, all those people will never know, like, hey, I have some ass sweat going on right now. I have some indigestion going on right now.
Yeah.
And I could crack a joke for you right now, but you would never see that because you see a big ass dude walking into a room with a chain that belongs on a pit bull.
Yeah.
But he's wearing it and he's owning it. And, you know, I think that's the thing with social media is, you know, people see an image of someone and automatically it's just, boom, they have a thought process of who they are. And I think that's what I've been trying to change a lot over the years, especially with the younger kids, because I kind of probably was the same way when I was 18 years old. You know, if I saw someone looking like me coming up towards me, probably shit my pants.
For sure.
And I would kind of judge them a little bit, you know, but I think as you get older, you mature. So now what I'm trying to do is, especially young kids, talk to them about this. Like, hey, when they come up to me, the first thing they talk about is fitness, your arms, you're this, I saw you doing this. And I'm like, that's cool. Ask me something completely irrelevant. Or talk to me like there's a bed sheet between us and I'm just a kid named Daniel. And they kind of like pause for a minute and buffer because they don't know how to interact or talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, just talk to me about something. What's your favorite fucking Rice Krispie flavor? There's fucking like 40 of them out now. Or like, what's your favorite cereal? What's your favorite color?
It's like when I did my podcast with you the one time, and I think I did photos of you like it's like a year or two ago. I had kids come up to me like, yo, what's Danny Swole like? I said, he's just a regular dude, man. And they're like, yeah, but like, what's he like? I said, he's just a regular dude like me, like how I'm talking to you. I said, he's not, I said, I understand that, like, you know, he's this big macho dude, you know, there's attention on him. I said, but you can talk to him like a regular dude. He's not going to shun you like he talks to everybody. And I think that's the biggest message here is that, you know, you're not scared to be who you want to be. And I think that's such a strong message to these young kids coming up, because it's a shame that I see a lot of these younger kids in the fitness industry now that are cookie cutter kids, and I call them that because they're trying to be like, and again, I have nothing wrong with Gymshark and like all that stuff, but like the kids that just all want to be in the same, you know what I mean? It's not even like in the same group. They're trying to mimic each other. And the thing is like I can't tell you who looks like you because you're you. You know what I mean? You're not trying to be anybody that's in the fitness realm. You're trying to be yourself. And that's the biggest message that I want to spread to these younger kids, because they think that they have to be like these guys. And again, it's not the message here. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to spread awareness on mental health. You're trying to spread awareness on just like gym culture itself, trying to change it around. You know, not this whole macho man shit, not the seriousness stuff. Yeah, lift heavy weights, but we can still joke.
Yeah, no, and the biggest thing, I guess, with all that being said, was you saying, everyone's trying to be like everyone else and cookie cut, right? And one of the biggest questions I get asked, whether it's in a message or in person, is like, how do I get big? How do I blow up on social media? And I think the biggest thing that they're not accepting is that they have to be themselves. And if they're not going to put something out there that's different from the rest of 10,000 other people. Because I tell them, I'm like, all right, Jeff, you're an awesome kid, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, what is going to separate you from 10,000 other Jeffs that are wearing the same Young LA shirt, the same haircut, same routine, same TikTok style videos? And I'm not hating on it. It's good stuff.
For sure.
But what is different? Or what is different about you that's going to make someone's neck snap and be like, oh, that's cool? Are they going to listen to what you talk about? Do you have something that's culturally interesting about you?
Yeah.
Are you from a place that's different? Do you share that story? And also, they're so fixated on pushing out their PRs and, like we talked about earlier, highlights. Yeah. I'm like, that's cool, man, but if you want people to connect and be inspired by you, not follow you, because I don't give a fuck if people follow me.
Yeah.
I want people to be inspired by me that follow me because of my message, right?
Yeah.
If you want people to inspire you, have something that's going to make them feel inspired.
Yeah.
And that's not putting out a PR.
Authenticity is huge.
Authenticity, and that's not putting out a PR. That's putting out realism within yourself, and it's the concept of being vulnerable, and it's a very uncomfortable thing. It took me years to talk about my depression, to talk about processes in a divorce or stuff in the military when you're deployed. There's certain stuff that took me a long time to kind of digest and talk about, and those are dark things that people don't like to talk about.
Yeah, and you also got to understand is that it's kind of frowned upon when you're, an alpha guy or just a man in general. Men can't physically express themselves without becoming weak. This society has brought it upon to us, and I've been in some relationships where I've tried expressing myself, and that person looked at me differently because they're, you know what I mean? They want the alpha, but at the same time, your person that supports you most, they should be able to see a vulnerable side to you and never think differently of you. And it's the same thing I think with family and friends. There are some friends that they will take you at your worst and they will take you at your best, and they will never judge you for it. They will never bring it up. They'll never look at you the wrong way, talk behind your back and say, oh, he's a bitch for doing this. When I started becoming vulnerable and putting my personal information out there, I went through some bad relationships. I had some mental health issues that I was not taking care of. When I started doing that, the amount of people that ventured out to me, and again, most men are very scared of what women are going to think once you do that. When I had the power in me to say I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks anymore, it was life-changing. But what was crazy was I had more women contact me on social media and say, hey, your vulnerability it really enlightened me. I really appreciate you doing this. I know this is probably the hardest thing you've ever done. These are random people. But it made me, number one, I felt confident already, but it just was at least some people get the message here, is that some people are truly struggling, and the ones that want to come out with it. I just told you before, social media is an SOS. I look at social media as somebody in a life raft, signaling for help in the middle of the ocean. That's how social media is. You have to talk to your friends. You have to listen to the signs. There's some people I know when they post stuff about relationships that are depressing on their story, friends of mine, I'm like, damn, he must be going through it. Let me call him. Let me text him. And some people just don't look at it as he's putting this stuff up because he's signaling for help. He's hinting so somebody will help him or her. I mean, I see it on both ends of the spectrum. And I think a lot of people need to take it more serious when you start seeing these little tiny red flags coming from your friends or loved ones, that they might be struggling mentally and they're just too insecure, or they just don't feel like being vulnerable because they're scared to open up. It's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. No, the red flags. People, it's especially as men be like, oh, he'll be okay, he'll be good. You know, and that's the biggest.
That is the biggest thing. Oh, he's all right.
You know, there's a it's there's like a meme I saw. It's a hand on out of the water drowning. It's a man saying I'm okay. You know, and it's like he's drowning. You know, and it's society is just that's how society it's normalized for men to just toughen it out.
Yeah.
Because of it's how we're raised. You know, it's old
For
school
sure.
mentality, and you know I'm not knocking my parents or any like my
It was the way they were raised.
and there and then it's not even my parents essentially, but a lot of people I know. My parents honestly like they didn't raise me that way to where I had to toughen up. Like they really did care about my feelings, and
Yeah.
I'll be sure with that I really appreciate my parents for doing that, even being raised in a divorced family. But a lot of my friends and people have, especially in the military, back in the day. I mean, you're taught like toughen up. Military will teach you toughen up, buttercup, a lot of stuff, you know. And it's not something to be ashamed of as a dude to have feelings. I'm not saying sit there and how do I say it? The military a lot of the times has put mindset into these young men that are like sponges with brains
Yeah.
to just get through it, and then they don't get help and they wonder why the rates are what they are. And you know that's a huge part of this whole stigma thing that we have going on.
I totally agree with you on that. And it's crazy is that, I remember, I was prior law enforcement, and being in law enforcement, I don't want to say that they try to act a certain type of way, when it comes to, being a man, this and that. But I had dated somebody that tried committing suicide in front of me, and it tore me up, dude. They discharged a firearm in front of me. I ended up saving their life, bringing them back to life. It was a very life-changing thing. My job didn't even support me on it. They didn't ask if I was okay, nothing, until weeks later when I had to go in the office. There was this one guy, I won't mention his name, but he sat me down in his office, and he's like, hey, man, how are you? Are you okay? And I remember I just broke down. I was like, oh, my God, dude. I'm like, no one's asked me this in, like, weeks. I said I've been talking to doctors and stuff, and nobody's really... And he didn't care about the procedure. Everything's policy and procedure and everything in the military. Well, it's the same thing in law enforcement. He literally was like, dude, are you okay? He's like, I'm not... This is between me and you. This isn't work. Are you okay? He sat me down as all... And he's a very professional guy, but he literally became vulnerable with me. He's like, listen, man, I don't know anybody I could have put up what you put up with, and I just want to let you know because I don't feel like you've gotten the emotional support you wanted, because I know how it is here. If you need anything, here's my card, man, call me. He's like, but I just want to make sure you're okay because you don't seem yourself. And dude, that did so much for me. Like that was a very, very hard struggle in my life right there with that situation. And it took literally that 5-minute conversation that just flipped me upside down. I was like, oh my God, man. I didn't know how bad I was until somebody physically asked me if I was okay. It was like a switch. It was almost like internally we're just like, let it all out, and I broke down. And that's the thing that I think, just like you're saying, am I okay? It's the biggest thing that men say. And it's the worst thing to say because, again, it's just like when we hear, are you okay? Our natural reaction is, yeah, I'm good. And like you turn off all your emotions and you just go in your head internally. Me, I'm just like, they don't care. They don't want to hear this. They don't want anything. And I think that's what my struggles with this channel is that I want to get people outside of their comfort zone to be like, hey, it's okay to do this, man. I have people that write me paragraphs, and I appreciate all of you guys that write to me. You guys can write to me whenever you want. But I listen to them, and like I literally, even if I don't have the time, like I'll try to get back to them the next day. But I really sit down and read their stuff, and like, I thank them. I'm like, dude, like, I really appreciate this. And there was a girl that was at my gym, and I just mentioned this on a previous podcast, and I haven't talked to her in a while, and she randomly came up to me, and she goes, hey, like, I just want to thank you for, like, talking about the stuff you do, because I've been struggling for, like, months, and your channel is really helping me, and, like, everything that you're doing is helping me. And that, and you can comment on this, Danny, that is, like, so much. I don't even know how to say it. It is so much more powerful than money. It's like that is like priceless to me. Is to hear certain stuff again. One person, just to hear stuff like that. It's like I'm making a difference. I have purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the whole problem that people think is that like, oh, I want to do all this stuff to get attention. Like some influencers I see out there, they talk about mental health, but I really follow them to see if they're about it. And it's all clout, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame because people are really struggling. This isn't just like some people might think, you, again, if they just were following your post, they might think, you're not serious about it until they really dig deep into your social media and see like, wow, this guy's consistent. And that's part of the reason why I want to do this is because I want to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
This isn't just like, hey, let's get following. Like, I don't care if we have 1,000 subs on the YouTube channel versus 1,000,000 subs. If we have 1,000 listeners that are being helped by this, or this is getting them through their day, we're making a difference, man. And that's the whole message here. And I know with you, with the military, I know the military is a very soft spot for you because you want to be able to help your vets. You want to be able to help your brothers and sisters in the armed forces, man.
Yeah. So, you shared something that's like super deep, and I know it's hard to talk about certain stuff like that really it's hard to something that was really hard to digest emotionally, especially just on a podcast. So
yeah,
I applaud you for doing that. And I think I felt a lot of the same ways as you. When in last year, when I was at Fusion Gym and I just saw a story, and of someone saying goodbye to all his friends and to his gym members, and
I was there.
Yeah. And
that's when I approached you and said we need to do more stuff on mental health.
And it's the same thing. I felt like in the moment, like, why wasn't I knowing about the signs and all this stuff? Someone I checked in on, I talked to where now to the point where I'm trying to find him and then getting to his house too late, and it's just that whole bottle of emotion, right? Like, and during that time, like, it fucked me up so bad.
You
because
take it out on yourself.
No, like, because I got, we were sitting there outside the house just watching, the cops come out. And then, after the fact, I sat there and I was telling myself, I'm good. I'm good. Like, and that's just, you're lying to yourself. And you don't realize you're lying to yourself. But it's because you have other things in life going on. So you have to keep pushing. You can't let this, but if you don't let it out or talk to someone about it, you're just going to make it worse. And I kept doing that. And what the problem was like, I was in a position where I was going through just a lot in my personal life, like pushing people away, just fucking things up, and that happened. And then I was like, oh shit, I just got orders to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah. And
I have to move to a new state, buy a house, all this. There's so much happening, and I kept going. And this is from November to March. And, I drove all my stuff down from here to from New Jersey to Oklahoma. And I was like, just keeping on. I just kept going and going. It was like a new base, new home. I'm gonna be good. And like, I got there and it was an empty home, and I sat there because all my furniture was broken, and I was just thinking about everything and like the friendships and stuff I've ruined back home maybe, and just not being able to do enough for someone that could still be here. And then on top of that, like, are people gonna check in on me when I'm here? And then like no one was for a little bit, and it was fucking me up. And like, I sat there one day and I had like a complete breakdown, and like, I don't know why, like, I've never called my parents for like help before. And like, I was at my like one of my like second to lowest in my life.
For sure, dude.
And like, I was like, am I a disappointment to you? Like, am I a disappointment to you? Because I feel like no one is calling to ask if I'm okay. Like, I'm like, and to people that I knew for years, and like, I had to get affirmation from my parents to tell me that they're proud of me, to make me feel like worthy. And because I felt alone, like I had no friends, I was at home with no furniture. I didn't know where to go eat. Like, and this like, it
mentally made you feel empty.
Yeah, no, I felt like really fucking empty.
Yeah.
And I kept blaming myself for a lot of things that I that some things I didn't have control over, some things I did, but at the end of the day, like, I just felt like I didn't have help, And then like, again, moving there, like I didn't have my therapist. Like I didn't have my therapist anymore. Like I didn't have friends. I had no friends. You know, I had microwavable pizza, and
Yeah.
that's what made me happy that one day. I remember because it's the only thing I had. But like I had that's when like reality hit. I was like, I'm not good.
Yeah.
And then
It's very hard to identify because we put it on the back burner.
yeah. And so I realized like, and it's because all this like bunch of shit happening at once just bottled up, and I didn't release it right, and I was just taking it out on myself, and I was being hard on myself, and over that I started hating myself because I was reading comments, and this is how toxic social media is.
Oh, yeah.
Is what you just said. You know, that one nice comment outdoes everything. Those were one of the moments where I was reading 2,000 comments on a TikTok for where I'm gonna die in 4 years, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
my teeth are fucked up, I look goofy, my shoes are
Yeah.
ugly, like, and I all that just you weren't seeing any positivity or light at the end of the tunnel, and I was like,
Especially when you're in a dark place already.
and then I'm like, I had to like come to reality. I was like, Danny, like, and then my dad and my dad, like, love you, he just reiterated like, you know, the person I am, and he even brought up like specific stuff. So like, I have coworkers and pilots that follow you,
Yeah.
and like your message, and like it impacts them, and their sons follow you, and they love you, and he's like, I love you, and all this stuff, and you know, that helped. And then I started to think about the things I do right in life rather than the things I do wrong, and
sure.
And that's really hard to do when you're just thinking everything sucks.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that like you're your own worst critic, and there's people that love you and support you,
For sure.
even when you think you don't. They don't, and that's very hard to think when you're in that dark hole, because you know, you talk about suicide and stuff. That's when you feel like no one's there.
That's when you feel again, I've been in that position multiple times where I felt, again, I'm just like, nobody loves me. No, again, you feel that way. You really feel in a position where you just feel your lowest. You know what I mean? You're at rock bottom to the point where, again, like I've had previous relationships where people have talked down to me and told me that I was this awful person, but in reality, I had my friends tell me, you know, only like 2 or 3 friends I truly really have, like, dude, they're like, the things you're doing are changing things, man. He's like, the way you've been for the past year, like, you've really come such a long way. And I have friends that comment on stuff, and like they'll literally say, this is really who you really are. Like when I make comments about statements that I'm like, yo, I'm really true to my friends. Like if I'm your friend, I'll show up in the middle of the night, this and that. Those 3 people I talk about, they will literally comment and say, you are that person. You've done it for me. And that's all I really need. But again, regarding back to like, you know, depression and even suicidal thoughts, man, you feel you're at your lowest, man. I've been to that point where like I needed almost validation I was a good person, because I feel like if I was a good person, why aren't there people reaching out and helping me? I'm putting up videos of like, you know, my past and things that are really coming up during the winter time was a really bad time for my mental health, and I started taking control of it, going to the bathhouse and stuff, which was saunas and meditation, and things started getting better. But you just feel so alone, man, like you really are in a dark hole. And the thing is, you almost have to motivate yourself in a way, or, you know, loved ones that come up. And again, it's so hard to talk about, but like you yourself need to be the bigger person, and like that's so hard for you to think in your head because you're down already. But at the end of the day, you know, we motivate ourselves and know that like we're going to get through it. And that's the thing that sucks with depression, is depression's always going to bring you down, but it doesn't bring you down to a point where you can't get out. And that's the biggest message here to everybody, is that we know that times are hard. We know that, you know, there's seasonal depression, there's relationship depression, you know, there's losing a loved one, and there's so many ways to take care of this, everybody, that you need to start figuring out little by little how to take care of your mental health so it doesn't get too overbearing to the point where you fall all the way down to rock bottom. And again, it's happened to me multiple times, and I appreciate you saying that, Danny, because, you know, when you left here, when we did our first podcast, you know, I was hype as fuck, man, because I love the content we had, because we didn't have nothing here is scheduled or scripted. we just talk. I mean, if you guys heard the first 20 minutes of us being here, we literally just talked, and it was just such a real comforting, like, just talking about life in general. None of it scripted. Like, we were just talking about, like, everything. And I just remember, like, when you told me you moved back home, like, I was happy for you because I'm like, oh, you know, maybe he wanted to go back home. But I was really fucking sad because, like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to see you anymore to do this stuff. And I was like, hey, man, I think I contacted you a couple. I say, hey, man, I'll come down to you a couple times. We can do some content, whatever. And it was just, you know, just to be around you, man, and conversate and just have that energy, because you bring a lot of energy into a room. And that's the thing I think you need to always remember, Danny, is that you're always bringing that energy no matter what. It's your appearance, it's the energy you bring, it's the jokes, like the funny stuff. Like, there's just so much more to you than people see on social media. Like, being around you, it's funny, dude. It really is. Like, again, the time you showed up at Fusion, you know, we were filming and stuff, and like, you're coming over grabbing our muscles. Like, it was just a funny situation. But like, I don't think you see, like, that you really do lighten up people's days, even probably when you're at your worst, to be honest.
I think I would never tell someone this before. Obviously, I try to make them happy, but I think on my hardest and worst days, am I like that I'm like struggling, if I'm in like a really public place or like gyms, or is where I try so hard to make others like laugh.
Yeah.
I think that like covers my sadness in a
Yes,
way.
it does.
But it also helps me.
Yeah.
And I would never admit that usually to someone, just because I'm not gonna make them feel bad for me. That's not my point. It's just like genuinely like seeing a kid light up and fucking about whatever. Like, if I'm just goofing off or like,
Yeah.
you know, making fun of myself to make him feel comfortable to talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, my mood's fine. And
Yeah.
if people just don't think, like, they don't think about that kind of stuff. They look at, like I said, they look at me and like put me in a box, and it's and I understand that. I look every morning. I wake up, look myself in the mirror. I'm gonna tackle the day, Danny, with your 2-inch stick. Go get it, Danny.
Yeah.
You're gonna go kill it, right?
Yeah.
Eat your Fruity Pebbles, fucking wash your 2-inch stick, put on your flight suit, and go ahead. Maybe sharp on the way to work. Who knows? But the point being is, like, once you are past that physical image, and that's the thing is once that person sees the human side of you, it's their whole perception has changed.
Yeah.
I've had people go 360 on me with how they treated me. I've had people just talk shit on me,
Yeah.
and then be like, yo, bro, I'm really sorry. And like you could just see, like, they're
It's
like,
the best feeling
they're
ever.
like, but I'm not even gonna sit there and make you feel bad after it. I'm like, thank you for seeing me for who I am.
Yeah.
I was like, and I've even gone out and like hung out with people afterwards, and it's because they know they're wrong, so they're trying to be better.
Yeah.
So I commend that.
For sure.
I'm not gonna make someone feel bad that has maybe made a mistake about me,
Yeah.
because they've corrected it. And that's the whole point of me like advising them to be better, because now you've corrected it, and now I can be your friend.
That's a powerful message, though. That's a very powerful message, because the fact that you're able to forgive somebody because you know, like, hey, man, I know you might not like me now, but at least you see who I truly am. I forgive you for that. That's a very, very strong message, because I've been in some similar situations like that, you know. It's funny, 2 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution that I was going to smile at the gym more. It sounds so stupid, but I started seeing, you know how everything in the gym is body language, and like there used to be dudes and like some women that would just give me these dirty ass looks, and like I would get mad as I would like kind of just be like, yo, what did I do? This and that. So I would literally just put on a smile, and it's not even when I wanted to smile. I'd be mad as fuck. I just start smiling, and then I go over and be like, yo, bro, those pants, where'd you get them? Young LA's fucking awesome, dude. I would compliment something on them and just get them to talk to me for about 2 seconds, and then break that whole thing, because again, it's just initiation. And then some of the people I truly wanted to fight are actually friends of mine now. It's so sad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I literally
100% agree.
I literally go over and crack a joke, and it just be the stupidest, funniest stuff. And then they would literally, like, as soon as you get somebody to break a smile means the same thing in almost any language, dude. As soon as I got them to laugh or smile, I just realized, I'm like, you know what, I got them now. Now I can start a conversation, say hello to them now.
Yeah.
And I think at about 80% of the time that worked, and the other 20%, I really don't give a fuck. But it's just funny how, like, we kind of see similarities on both ends of the spectrum there, because I've had some people that come up to me in the same way, and they just say, "Hey, man, like you're not really who you really portray to be. Like I thought you were a tool bag on social media. Like your mental health stuff, the things you really talk about, relationships. Like you're really a genuine dude." And I said, "I appreciate that, man." I said, "I'm sorry, I can't give you my number." And then they just start laughing, and it takes off from there. But again, it's the initiation, man. Just having a joke with someone and kind of just not making it too deep. And I'm glad that you can do the same thing in the gym, man, because the gym sometimes can be an awkward place. You know what I mean? Some people being serious, some people being dicks.
And there's some people that are just are even timid to be in there, right?
For sure.
So because there's a huge spectrum, right? There's the 16-year-old that's like the next C-bum aesthetic god that's cocky as hell, and then there's the same kid in the same grade who's like scared shitless.
Yeah.
But his dad signed him up to go to the gym because he wants him to be bigger, right?
Yeah.
And then that little skinny kid sees someone like me, right?
Yeah.
And who do you think I want to go talk to? Is the fucking skinny kid.
Yeah.
Because, and just say like you said, like, yo, bro, sick Jordans. I have them in the Fire Reds.
Yeah.
And then like you know you hear him stutter, like you get scared, and then you keep talking.
Yeah.
And then they'll start and then they start like fucking opening up, like blossoming. And then you see that, and then you just see them, and then they show you emotion that no one else will get in that gym, but you made them able to feel comfortable.
For sure.
And now they're going to kill their gym session. And then you have no idea how that conversation impacted that kid. And to you, it may be nothing. Like, to me, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything, but to me, it's just a conversation. It's just someone I made laugh or smile, whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
On to my next set, right? But that kid, right, you don't know how that shit you don't know what he's going through, how his family life is, or if it's the first day, whatever day. And it could inspire him. It could go any direction. My point being is, like, you never know how the end result is gonna impact someone.
Yeah.
So when you talk to people, I always say, just like, understand, just go about it in the most positive way that you can, no matter even if it's a negative conversation, because if someone throws negativity at you and you throw it back, then someone watching is gonna be like, huh, look at him, like, just raging, like they're getting what they wanted
think
out
about
of
you. Yeah.
Right. You're literally
proving them right.
Yeah. But if you're just, and it's almost like sarcastically happy or positive, but it's still positive. They can't knock you for being nice.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fucking huge. Like his back sucks. He's on this and that. And he's really nice. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a hell of a compliment, bro. You said my arms are nice, my back sucks. Okay, my back does suck, but you said I'm nice. I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. Or because any conversation, when people have conversations with me or they talk shit, I'm like, I ask people, like, when people bring it up to me, yo, this person said this, or I read this, or whatever, I'm like, what did they say? And usually it's an exterior or physique-based comment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, have they ever spoken to me ever in their life? And if it's a no, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But if they have, then it's maybe something I need to work on, but I've never had that be a thing, where people have interacted with me and not had a good conversation, a beneficial conversation. Or even if it was something we disagreed on it, like, mutually. Like, it's like, I agree, disagree.
Yeah.
But it's not like I hate you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's like, I ask them, like, what do you not, what bothers you so much? If it's my exterior shell, and this is where I tell people all the time, if people are hating someone for an exterior-based thing, that's an insecurity problem on their end. It's not something that you need to fix about yourself.
Yeah.
Because and I tell people, I'm like, ask yourself, I'm like, are they hating anything about your intellect, your heart? If they have nothing to say about those two things, you're fucking golden, bro.
For sure.
Like, and that's why these opinions and confidence, I hold my head high, because I am confident. I know I'm a good person, so I don't have any reason to not feel that way, because all these things that I do for people, they're genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Like, it's from a good spot.
For sure.
So for when hate's coming my direction, and it's, oh, your shoes, this, like, cool, man, like, great. I'm like, I'm like, and I feel bad, because I'm like, sometimes, like, are you okay? It sounds crazy to think, but I still want to ask them, are you good?
Yeah.
Like, what's making you so salty?
That's another thing, is that when I started having people hate on me for no reason, I always say to people, what's my last name? And they're like, your last name's Adams. I said, you don't know who the fuck I am. I said, my middle name's Adam. It's not Adams. I said, people that knew me growing up know my full name. I said, if you don't even know my full name, you don't know me at all. I said, so you're just judging me off of social media or something you heard from somebody. I said, It is what it is, man. And that's when I, again, if you fully know me and went to high school with me and you have a problem with me, I'll admit it. I was a dick in high school. I was a fucking dick. Like I was kind of a jerk off. I wasn't a bully, but I was like kind of an asshole because I was hiding. I was being like a secretive jock kind of. Like I was trying to be like this buff dude in high school because secretly I was being abused at home. My stepfather was beating the shit out of me. I had addict parents that weren't taking care of me, and like I was acting out. I was acting out all the time.
Yep.
It was from middle school to high school. I didn't know how to act. And like there's some people that I've actually ran into at the gym, at the bar in my hometown of Delaware County, and some of them that do come up to me like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And like I've actually apologized to them. I said, "Hey man, I don't know if I've ever like came off like a certain way in high school to you, but like I'm sorry if I was a dick. I started doing that a couple years ago. Like just apologizing for who I was because I kind of realized that I was hiding in a lot of trauma and emotions that I wasn't handling. I was putting it on the back burner and it was making things worse. And that's the one thing that I truly love about myself is I'm not scared to air myself out. Like again, like you can talk shit on yourself, like I can do the same. Like I can really air myself out and say where I fucked up in my life.
Yep.
And that's true growth right there. Like that's a journey of growth where like you're growing as a person when you can truly call yourself out, because the hardest thing is when somebody can't admit when they're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like internally you know you're wrong, but you're going to manipulate somebody. It's almost like being in a relationship and
It's gaslighting, yeah.
you're and it's awful. And some people don't understand that by doing that, you're creating a bigger monster on the inside.
Because you start you if you gaslight, you manipulate.
Yeah.
You know, and so I honestly, like, this is like in adult life, I found myself where I was like doing it without recognizing it.
Yes.
And it was because I was seeing, that sounds fucked up, my friends doing it, and I thought it was normal.
Yes.
And then over time, when you fuck up a friendship or relationship or whatever because other people are doing it that way,
Yeah.
you're like, you're it's twisted. You think it's, but because you're in your mind, it's normal. It's not that you're trying to be bad or wrong. You're trying to be an asshole.
Yeah.
You just are one because you're hanging with who you are, or you're surrounding yourself with who you are.
It's the biggest thing is that when you're surrounding yourself around people that aren't within, I don't want to say within your niche, but like within who you are as a person, you're gonna start finding yourself becoming more stressed out and more like just thrown off because the energy around you is not the same energy as you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the biggest life-changing things for me. It was like getting rid of people that, number one, didn't have my best interest, the people that were just calling me just to hang out because they had nothing better to do, or because I was always the DD driver. I was always the guy I was never drinking, so I'd always pick up my friends, take them out, they get drunk, drive them home. Like, it's simple stuff like that.
Yeah.
People that are only calling you when it's convenient. And I got tired of it. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, it wasn't convenient, you know, for me to do the things I did for you. I still did them. But when I'm going through something, you know, going through a bad breakup, you know, someone in my family's sick, you're nowhere to be found. You're working on yourself. Well, what the fuck, man? And I had a lot of people in the past year do that to me when I was going through my worst. And then when I got all of that toxic energy out of my life and started putting people in my best interest, my life changed drastically. And on top of that, the biggest thing that I had to realize is that I'm not going to be understood by everybody. And that's the hardest thing for some people. Because some people at night will just be like, why doesn't this person like me? Why don't they see me for who I am?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you okay, girls? We have people in here that are making noise. It's okay, though.
All good.
Yeah, for sure. But you're not going to make everybody happy, man. And I had somebody that I was friends with, that I did a podcast with, and I truly didn't like one aspect about this person is that I've always knew this saying is like, don't fuck with somebody that fucks with everybody. And that to me, some people might say, oh, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean is that if you have somebody that's always agreeing with other people or going with what they do, that means that when you're not around and someone talks shit on you, they're going to agree with it. And I don't fuck with that.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, if
you just got to remember, if you have somebody that never wants to be on bad terms with anybody, you know what I mean? It's like Eminem was one of my favorite rappers growing up. He's like, you got enemies? Good. Means you stood for something in your life. And it's the realest thing coming to realization later on in life is that I'm not going to make everybody happy. And not everybody's going to understand me. But if the people that support me mentally and the people that love me are there for me, that's all I care about. I don't care that, you're Joe Schmo that talking all this trash. I don't need to be understood by you. If you want to understand me, cool, but I'm not going to lose sleep anymore over people that just don't benefit my life and just aren't there for me. And that's hard, man. It's really hard to have something like that.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I know I'm not shit.
Yeah.
I don't even fucking like tea. So, I mean, let's just be real. Like tea.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I don't drink tea. So,
no tea parties for us, everybody.
No tea. I mean, I probably will when I will. This is super random because my brain's like in 40 different spots. One time in my life where I'll fucking have tea time.
I went to a tea party.
You went to a tea party?
I went to an Alice in Wonderland tea party. It was on Instagram, but
As an adult?
Yes,
with other adults?
6 months ago. Yeah.
Were they dressed up like
they were
princesses?
dressed up. Yeah, we should have went. Yo, you should have.
I would have 100% went.
Yo,
That's what,
can you imagine? Oh my god, that would have been sick.
Yeah, I just fucking.
Dude, they literally had a little tea party and like they dressed up as the Mad Hatter and like.
Oh no way.
Yo, they acted out. I love when people stay in character.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
The one lady was such a dick to me. That was the queen. She's like, off with your head. I said, oh no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time I went to a tea party. It was amazing.
Well, the only time I do want to have a daughter. That's one thing I wanted to always
Just have a little tea party.
have a fucking be sitting there like jacked out of my mind still because I'm gonna be fit when I'm fucking 40s. I promise you.
For sure.
But I'm gonna still be there, all
Same
veined
dad
out,
mustache.
sitting there with my creepy mustache, and my innocent daughter, but doing tea time. I think that's like the coolest or one of the biggest little things I want in my it's such a I don't know how to you think, oh, I want to get married, I want to have kids. Yeah, I want all that stuff, but that specific moment,
I'm gonna have a daughter.
I just want that's the only thing.
Yeah.
And just hearing her laugh, haha, just having the best time, and I'm just sitting oh mate, you want a little bit of tea, just that shit. Anyways, is that I don't even where the fuck did the tea come from? Oh, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Okay, yeah, that's the one. Right, cool.
This is where it all goes. Yeah.
Tea, and the second thing is, not some of these younger kids influence people that are influenced nowadays. These kids that they look up to. They, how do I say this? Without.
I know you were so about that tea party. You're just thrown off now.
No, I was because I was so fixated on what I was going to say before. Okay, so essentially, is these kids are so fixated on a number, right? You see that guy over there, social media famous, whatever.
Yeah.
I think in our generation, people are because of the clout, Instagram, all that stuff. They've based people's popularity and everything based on a social media number and likes and this, right?
Yeah.
And I've had this interaction with a lot of people where I've had, even a couple of my friends that I was with in Houston were like, oh, you see that guy over there? Yeah, he has this file. I'm like, and to me, I know who they are. It's just good. But I want to ask them okay, he has 300K, whatever. Cool. Is he a good person? Right. You could have 3 million, 300K, doesn't matter. And this is what I talk and I tell these kids all the time. I'm like, if you talk to someone that has 3 million followers and 300K, whatever, or 20 followers differently, you're doing something wrong because you're talking to them as almost like a number. Or just an image.
It's like a celebrity status.
Yeah, which is fine because you're maybe nervous or you look up to them. I'm not saying don't talk to them as someone you look up to. However, I'm like, don't just base off the interaction off of a number. Don't just want to be their friend because they're famous. That's so crazy to me.
It's
you know what I mean?
Do you ever remember? This was like a meme. This was like a background saying that was on Instagram post a couple years ago, but it was support your friend like you support the celebrity that doesn't even know you. And that stuck out to me because it was talking about small businesses. You're going to support, somebody that has this big business that you don't even know from social media because, everyone else is. But why aren't you supporting your friend that you personally know that's doing this on their own? You know what I mean? It's just nobody's going to support you until you have that clout.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing is that we're basing people's popularity just off of like numbers, and it's like you said, man. It's like, are they a good person? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. Like, if I again, if I had one person notice me from like the mental health channel and they came over and like they were just like, yo, man, this mental health channel is really changing. That one person, that's cool. I don't really care about the popularity. I obviously want lots of people to engage in this and be in that state of mind where like they can open up and talk about this stuff. But I don't care at all about the clout of it. Like, you know what I mean? The insta fame shit. I really just want to spread a message that's going to help. I don't really want to be a face. You know what I mean?
Which is what most people base everything off of.
And that's what's awful about this country.
And that's, like, just picture this, right? Like, people come up to me now because of social media. Cool, right? Oh, do you have Instagram? Yeah, man, here, cool. But I was like, what if I didn't? What if I wasn't on Instagram, TikTok, nothing, didn't record anything, and I looked the way I do? These interactions I have with these younger kids that come up, you know, Alpha Land, all these gyms, they first ask, are you on social media? If I just said no, like, I don't use it, they would walk away. Like, that's literally what they do. Like, all right, cool, man. But as soon as I say, like, yo, how many followers you have? It's such a different if I say no, it's almost like, oh,
So weird.
like, it's like, oh, goodbye, I don't give a fuck about you. Oh, you have 145K? Oh, you're sponsored by, oh, bro, like, follow me, man. Like, yo, like my last post. Like, you just went down a two-way fucking road of how you just talked to me because of a status.
Yeah.
I was like, and that's why when I have these conversations, I'm like, just fucking take that out for a minute.
Yeah.
Just talk. And that's where the respect comes in. Not about my following, but the human side, which is what you said, is that's how people respect me for the human I am. Because I don't give a fuck about the clout that you're getting or the clout that I may be receiving. If I lost half my followers, cool, I'd still be doing the same shit I do day in, day out. And some of these kids, they wouldn't. That's what I know what separates me from a lot of people, because these people have the mindset of like, I'm going to go in and do this because someone else is going to like it.
Yeah.
Rather than I'm going to do this because I love it. That's
True.
the fucking difference. Some of these kids have no fucking love for what they're doing because it's popular. Because it's putting money in their bank. Cool, man, you're loaded. But you're probably unhappy.
The thing is that I just mentioned this a couple months ago on a podcast. There was a Apple commercial of like, it was like a disaster where the internet went down forever. Like there was a guy that was inside Apple and he flicked a switch and it turned off the internet in the entire world and people went crazy. And it's like, if we go through this crazy apocalypse where there's no social media or things get shut down, all that goes out the door. You know what I mean? Again, people might know you because they saw you on social media, but like that shit has died down. It's just, status is everything now. And it's a shame that like you could be an amazing person, but because you don't have a high follower count or something, you're going to be looked past or people aren't going to support you. And it's just like, that's why a lot of people fake it till they make it. And they try to promote fake stuff, or like they try to do things they would go outside their realm doing, and then they find themselves unhappy because they're like trying to build subscribers and followers, but they're steering away from what they truly are passionate in, and they're building a community of things they don't even support or care about just for clout. Do you know what I mean? And again, if you stick to what you're doing, and do you see what I'm saying?
Half the gym community. I mean, let's be real. I'm not saying these individuals, kids, even grown-ass men don't love the gym, but they're going because it's popular.
For sure.
They're seeing other people gain from it. Like, oh, I'm not discouraging them from trying it out. However, they're only doing it because there's something to gain from it. Rather, not like for themselves internally, but exteriorly, socially.
Yeah. Like
to be accepted. Like I'm gonna go into, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder because I want to be the next C-bum. Fuck that. When people say I want to be like, no, bro, be you. Yeah. You C-bum you don't think I'm motivated by C-bum? Fuck yeah, he's fucking God.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be him. I want to be me.
I think that's where self-love comes in, is that obviously, growing up, there's always that one bodybuilder. Mine was Arnold, or it was Frank Zane.
Yeah.
It was always, but I truly always thought, like, yes, I would like to look that way, but I want to see what my physical body would look like after all that discipline, years of doing it. Like, I want to get to that status of working out that hard and sacrificing to get to where I need to be, not just, hey, give me Arnold's body by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll love myself. No, I won't.
Because these kids, and not just kids, I say kids, but it's grown-ass men. Yeah. Like, they want to skip the process of struggling. They want to skip the process of, like, not, I'm not saying just hard work, dedication,
Struggling
and
builds you,
corny, but
man.
like just getting to that point where you've established yourself off of like something that you're passionate about and love about over years. Like
Yeah.
this whole bodybuilding thing for me, like it's something that I found that helped me mentally, and I got so good at start competing, start was so good at that. Was like, you know what, let me try and inspire the world through my passion for it.
Yeah.
But now it's like these kids, those are little steps I just listed, like step 1, step 2, and step 3. These kids are trying to jump to step 3, even grown ass men. Step 3, like, what have you done? Who
Yeah.
are you? Oh man, you have 40, like there's, I don't have respect for that. That's why these kids, you ask about respect, do I respect? I was like, you know, you're cool, man. You're nice to me, but like, I will respect you when you differentiate yourself from your peers.
For sure.
And you go through that step process, because you'll learn the most through your failures. And I've gone through that fucking roller coaster my whole fucking life. I'm 27, and I probably still will learn at some point, you know. But these people just expect it to be butterflies and fucking rainbows.
The struggle builds you, and it builds character.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand is that, you know, there's things that we've all gone through that has changed us in some ways, but it's built us and put us on a different path that has wrote our chapters differently, but you know, we're still writing the ending. And the thing is, we have control of it. But the struggle is what has to be there first to build all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, again, I'm not hating on people that have had an amazing life, but there's always going to be some type of struggle out there. And, you know, people, again, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? I applaud people that, you know, it is all sunshine and rainbows for you, but you need to prepare yourself for when it's not going to be that way.
Yeah.
And again, if you're living that life of sunshine and rainbows and, you know, it's like that for a good period of time, you're in a very vulnerable spot when things go south and you're at rock bottom now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think early on, I think both of us have gone through that rock bottom phase very early where, you know, it's taken time and seniority to really take care of our mental health and just kind of set aside certain things to better ourselves. You know what I mean? And I've seen your growth over the, I think, 2 years I've been following you. And I told you, man, like, you know, I see the message behind you. You practice what you preach. And that's my whole thing is that, again, you know, I think I've told you this. Maybe you've forgotten. I did this because of you. Because, you know, when I had started talking, I don't think you remember the one time you're in here, I asked to take pictures of you. It's like 2.5 years ago. I don't know. I said, hey, man, you mind if I just take a couple pictures of you? Looking fucking jacked. And you're like, yeah, man. And I think I said, hey, you competing anytime soon? You're like, nah. Got to be good up here. You like point at your head. You're like, you got to be good up here before you start doing it. You said something like that about like mentally being there before actually stepping on stage or like, you know, doing something like that. And I was like, wow, like this fucking guy. I said, I'd never heard some shit like that. Like it was just so random to me to hear somebody like really say like, no, I'm not doing it because I want to get this up top taken care of first. It was like such a quick thing you said so confidently. And I was like, damn, and that's when I really started investing into your channel. And I started like, I'm like, all right, this guy's, you know, really about mental health. And that's really where I started talking about it more. I'm like, you know what? This guy talks about it all the time. He's in the fitness industry. He's making moves, all that. I said, why am I not doing this? I said, because I'm a very strong advocate on mental health. And like, honestly, I started getting in that phase of not caring what people thought. And that really came from you. And I'm not just saying that. Like, truthfully, I think you had a fucking unicorn on your dick, like on front of you or some shit. And I was like, this dude has a unicorn on the front of his dick. Like in the gym, I said, this dude means business. He said, yeah, there's some serious stuff. And then I think I told you about the one video where you're like making fun of yourself. You're like, hey, I'm too ugly. Hey, I'm too this. Like, and you were just like putting all the negative things said out there, and like you were like spreading a certain message of like, you know, you shouldn't be saying things like this to people. Like you should be spreading positivity.
I remember exactly that. It was a video at LA Fitness.
Yeah. And
I was getting like roasted, like on one of my videos, and like, I'm not gonna lie, it got to me. Like it usually does. I got to the point where I was good with handling it, but this one just was like viral, and I was just like sitting there, and I was like, how do I fix this? All right, so I'm gonna try to like flip it. So it took a while, but I was going through and I read through them. It was a long list of messages about everything about me, and I took the highlights, the ones I thought were like the most like, you know,
The ones that hit the
gruesome.
most, that stab you the
Yeah,
most.
and I literally had my buddy who's like, I'm like, you're gonna record me. I'm just gonna be walking down the hallway, and I'm gonna start saying all these things about myself.
Yeah.
My teeth are fucked up. I look goofy as fuck. I'm wearing woman's fucking baby gap shorts. I'm gay as shit. I whatever. Well, all the things,
I know.
whatever.
I
right?
remember it all.
And I was like, guess what? And then like I said, I turned. I was like, and basically said like, but I love myself.
Yeah.
I was like, these are all like things that people say about you. I was like, but at the end of and it was weird because I felt weird making it because I was like, man, I'm like roasting myself right now.
You're airing yourself out.
I'm roasting myself,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and it's like, I got so much positivity out of that video.
Oh yeah.
Like people like responding to it, like, oh wow, dude, like,
Yeah, that's when
thank you so
I noticed the
you know,
most.
and I was like, oh wow, like, and that's when the more I started being able to be more uncomfortable about certain, or be more comfortable with being uncomfortable
For sure.
and vulnerable with certain things that I talk about, because I was like, holy shit, like, this is helping people.
Yeah.
Like, and I was helping people before, but it was just more like physique stuff. This was more like deep, like skin, like shit, like, and I was getting messages from people, like kids that are overweight in high school getting bullied, like, hey man, we love your stuff here. We felt I had just
a message, man.
like, I couldn't tell you the amount of like positive stuff that came from it. And I still to this day, like, that's what I would see. You said it earlier, those messages, whether it's 2,000, 200,
Yeah.
will fucking mask and cover all the toxic other shit, because like you're helping someone.
Sure.
And if people want to hate on you, cool, but I've helped someone, so go fuck yourself.
You were able to do something that a lot of people can't do, and you were able to take a negative and turn it into a positive.
Yeah.
And it's benefited you a lot, man. And it's helped your social media. It's helped your status with mental health, helping others' mental health.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break because I'm starting to get a little bit of swamp ass because it's so hot in here.
My
Yeah, I
tits.
started noticing a little bit of
tits are going.
his tits sweating, but we're going to take a quick break, everybody. We'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you subscribe.
Cool.
I feel like this is necessary. I'm going to call Danny Swole's girlfriend to the podcast. You can sit on Danny's nice, lumptious... Sit down on those nice, lumptious legs and the jorts.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Let me... I'm going to make sure we're in frame because Danny's just muscles, man. Hold on.
Your nipples smell good.
What?
What? Just.
Oh, you're in frame. Cool. All right, so can you move it like...
Move it.
No, you can move...
Ready?
Oh, I can move the
Let's count to
mic.
3.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have to.
We did that
We're-
so difficultly.
It's alright.
All right.
We were shimmying.
Did I say that right?
We were shimmying.
All right, so obviously, I always like to talk about relationships on here because I feel relationships are very essential. We need to get this out of Danny's face. We're going to put it right there. I know. The robot dildo, Danny.
The robot dildo.
So anyway, number one, it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I've been seeing you on social media, and I've been seeing just the different energy that Danny's had, and I'm assuming that's coming from you. How long have you guys been talking? Or how long have you guys been together?
June 17th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that day. At
Idea.
4 p.m.
That's,
Yeah, that's the. Yeah,
Totally.
Totally.
We'll go with that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's awesome. But how do you feel that relationships and how do I approach this? So, how do you feel about relationships and mental health altogether? Some people I feel in relationships don't think mental health is as important with their partners, but do you think it's essential?
It's very essential. I always feel like if you're not on the same wavelength, especially mentally and emotionally, it's not going to work. You need someone that's going to, that you can talk to,
For
they
sure.
can go to and have a safe place, especially when you're having a bad mental day.
For sure.
Or just have someone there to support you and to listen.
Yeah.
If you don't have those things, you're never going to.
I feel like crying.
You're
That's
never
so-
going to feel safe with that person.
I know that's such a real emotion because I think as men, and I I can speak on this because I am a man. Um, we do want to come home to somebody that is just
Yeah.
our everything, but we want somebody that's just so understanding of like just how hard either life is going for us, but when we come home to our person, it just makes everything so much better knowing
Yeah.
that you love them for who they are. You
Mhm.
don't care their weak side, their vulnerable side. You love them for who they are, and it's a very big thing I think in relationships now where some women look at their person as weak, and I think that's awful because you want your man to open up to you, or you want your woman to open up to you and have that comfortability of knowing that, hey, I had a bad day, I'm going through something like this, and your person just to be supportive.
Yeah.
That's that's a very strong thing in relationships.
I'm a big supporter of if someone can come to me when they are having a bad day, I want you to tell me about it. Whether you want to cry, whether you're angry,
Yeah.
whether you're happy, I want you to be able to come to me with everything.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as a weak thing at all. I honestly see that as a big strength
For
because
sure.
some people can't do that, or they're not comfortable doing that, or they've never had um, the openness or the safe place to do that with someone.
Yeah.
And for me, that's huge for me, especially for me to have that in someone because I've never had that in someone.
Yeah.
Especially if, both of us, we both been married, we both been divorced, for different reasons. But, like having that safe place with someone is so essential. Like if I don't have it, I don't want it.
Well, you kind of feel like you're filling a void, or you just feel like you're kind of empty in certain
Yeah.
areas when you don't have it.
Hmm.
And I can only relate in that sense is because number one, I was definitely, in a relationship before where I was falling apart, and like I always thought about it like I don't want my partner to find out, because I feel like it might make them leave me, or they might perceive me as weak. And to be honest, it actually made the relationship worse because my energy just wasn't where it was, and she would think other things were going on. In reality, I was trying to save her, but it took for her to say to me like, you're not saving me, you're kind of pulling us apart. Like, I need to know everything about you, because if I don't know, then I can't help, and if I can't help, it's drawing us, you're putting something in between us, which I don't want. And I think it's very hard for men to tell their person, hey, this happened, hey, I'm going through this, because again, it goes back to that alpha. We need to be, the breadwinner. We need to do this and that. We can't be vulnerable. We need to be strong. And being strong doesn't physically mean hiding your emotions. Being strong is being a strong enough man to say, hey, I'm not feeling mentally all there, and like I need somebody. And I think it's a great thing that I've seen the difference in you, Danny, from previous situations. I think you're just in a better spot where you have somebody that's there to mentally support you and actually understand you. The biggest thing is having someone understand you,
Hmm.
because if the person doesn't understand you, it creates a very big barrier.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see Danny happy. I really am. And again, you can tell in his post, you can tell the rest of the world doesn't matter when you're happy with somebody. You know what I mean? You're just focused on you too.
Yeah.
You're not focused on anything else.
That's a big thing you said because um, being in Oklahoma and her being here, a lot of it's difficult. There's days where it's like it sucks, but in the moment when you're here with your person, it's like the world's on pause,
Everything.
but it's press play with your
Yeah.
significant other, like it's crazy because it's wild when I'm here at least we do the most basic shit just like eating blueberry bagels or like
It's those memories you're creating.
but it's like everything there's so much other shit there's like a lot of actually in the last like 4 weeks for both of us like really like fucked up shit that's been happening or going on, but it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of also know like that feeling of like oh like you're really happy with someone.
Yeah.
Is because in the past like I've let I guess those other things like take over because I wasn't fully there, it wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
And a big thing I will say to add to this being a very big change in my life is like I will fully say this the first time in my life where I've been 100% like open communicating with like every type of emotion I have. and I like kind of just had to like just did it off the bat, and I was kind of like nervous about it,
Yeah.
and it was given back, and then every day it's like that, and it's like, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts or questions about anything, and especially like you said, you know, saying the negative things, like there's sometimes like I don't want to burden her with me having a shit day, or something at work where I'm like I feel fucking horrible, but like
They call it emotional dumping.
like I will, but
Some
I
people
have
don't want to do that to their partner.
but I have to let them know, because like what if I keep doing that, and then like in reality like one day like she's living with me and she sees that, and like like where's this coming from?
Yeah.
I'm like, this has been happening for like year, you know what I mean, or whatever it is.
Well, on top of that, you also don't want her to think that it's her either, because
Yeah.
you don't understand what you're doing to your partner sometimes when you keep withholding information, because again, there's a lot that goes through a man's head, but there's even more that goes through a woman's head, you know. Again, you know, you could take it out on yourself and say, what am I doing? Why can't I be the best version of myself for him? In reality, he's trying to save the relationship, but he's also making it worse because he's not expressing himself and letting his partner know where he's at. Communication's everything. If you don't communicate, it starts building a barrier that you guys don't see until the very end, and you can't fix it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that you guys, again, it's very hard to, I told you, it's very hard to find somebody that's supportive of mental health, because I don't like to say stuff like this, but there have just been women that I've talked to, again, either dated or even friends, that I've just had the discussion about mental health, and they're like, I want my man to be strong. I don't want him crying to me about this and that. I'm like, well, that's the reason why you're single, because no man wants to know that, you know, he's going to be fighting the world, and then he's coming home and he's fighting his battles at home.
Yeah.
That's not a home. That's a fucking prison.
So to add to that, especially for me as like a woman that feels like needs that safe place with someone, I become my best version of me and like my strongest person
Yeah.
when I have that underlying support from someone. I'm able to be, you know, when I can talk to them about anything, or
Yeah.
I can go to them with anything, you know, and I want the same for my person as well.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like when someone is able to see that bad side of me, I'm able to flourish because I have that support. I have someone that listens. I have someone that hears me, and I have someone that understands me.
You got to remember that, you know, true love really comes from, you know, we're all growing as people every day. And when somebody can truly love you as you're growing as a person, that's real.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we do change and
Mhm.
things do happen, but understanding and being understanding of things going on is just, that speaks volumes. It really does.
I think another big thing, which is like a key word, and I think my relationship, but like I think any successful one, is support.
Yeah.
And that's with
Support's key.
That's with everything, right? Like professionally,
Yeah.
you know, what you like to do on the outside for hobbies, what you like to do with your friends, what you like to do like fitness, whatever it is. They may not understand it, but they support you because they know it makes you happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit, if she did some weird like fucking wine and yoga class, which I don't even know it exists,
With
Yeah.
this.
fucking do it.
Yeah.
I would fucking hate it probably, but I would do it
Yeah.
because I know it makes her flourish and happy,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like that's where people they don't do that for their significant. They don't try to understand the things that they are doing to make them happy, so they miss out and they're just continuing to not do it with them, and then that's where people fall out of love because they're like, this person doesn't want to do anything with me. They're not even trying to do anything with me.
Yeah.
Do they know what actually even makes me happy anymore?
It's true.
Because it's another big thing. Sorry, I was like and my breath's probably hot, so sorry about that.
I don't smell anything.
All right,
it's
good.
fine.
Turkey and sausage sandwich. And another big thing is I feel people have, you know, a lot of the times this new honeymoon phase, right? And it's like everything is the best version of themselves is presented,
Yeah.
and that's like off the bat, and then
They
over
try to
time.
maintain that, and it's
mask
impossible to
comes
maintain
off.
No, it's
it.
not. But if you're just like, hey, I suck at this, I'm like everything off the bat is just all like even the dark and fucked up shit's there. Like you've already now like eliminated like a year to some people
Yeah.
of what wouldn't come out till that year mark. I've met people that are like, I never knew this about my person until a year in. They're telling me about this. I'm like, you don't think that's something you try to, you know what I mean? It's just
I
it's
know exactly what
it's
you mean.
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've talked to her and she vice versa about shit that I've told maybe one or two of my friends or my family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, And it's sometimes people have asked like, how long you guys been together? I'm like, oh, not that long. Like, but because off the bat it's just transparency, communication. You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
The
But
first weekend we were together, the first time we even like met each other, like we were like talking like through social media, like whatever, like saying, hey, like we should meet, like we, you know, I had a crush on him. I don't, you had one on me, obviously, but like, you know, like we were just like, well, okay, well, like, when are we going to meet each other? You know, like we didn't know. And then he got his assignment to come here to Jersey, and I was like, oh God, like this is gonna happen. Like we're actually gonna like be able to like finally see each other.
yeah.
And like we really connected like through social media. Like we're goofy with each other. Like we could just talk about anything. And you know, the first night that we actually met each other, we just like clicked like right off the bat. Like sometimes you can click through like texting and whatever, but then like actually seeing someone in person and like connecting that way is completely different. Like it just makes everything so much better.
Just having a general conversation with somebody and like just being on the same level,
Mm-hmm.
it's like intoxicating. Like you don't want it to end. And that's again, like I've been in some versions of people where like I just wanted to keep talking about stuff because you
Yeah.
just feel so comfortable in yourself. And I think some people lack that when it comes to relationships. Like they are pretending to be somebody that they're not. And going back to what you're saying is like, you know, a year later type stuff. You got to get to know somebody in 4 different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All 4 seasons, then you know them for who they truly are. And again, you know, they say in the first like a month to like 90 days is like when people can't fake it anymore or be who they have been pretending to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like this real truth comes out. And that happens more often than you think with a lot of people. So it's very rare that you actually find somebody that you connect with right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you're just not scared to tell each other anything. You know, there's no secrets. And on top of that, I don't know if you can relate, Danny, like there's some things you just want them to know so that like you just get it out now so that, again, if they do find out later, you're just like, it's not a bad thing, but like you're just eager to tell them everything just so we can scatter it all out and just place it on the table and like, oh, this and that. Makes things easier.
That's definitely how we were that first night. I remember I went to drop him back off at his hotel. We sat in my car for another hour and a half to 2 hours. We laid out
2
everything.
hours and 18 minutes.
There's a lot going
Really?
on.
Yeah.
We laid out everything.
He only
The
knows
good-
because he missed his 4th meal, but
Mhm.
it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, like, and it's crazy. I came to New Jersey for that weekend. Just quick story on that. Like, and I was here for military. We're staying at a hotel, ironically, right up the street from her house. And we went to,
It was fate.
the first night, yeah, we were outside the car talking for forever. I'm not going to be like, oh, come in my hotel. That's weird. Like, I don't do that. And
Yeah.
then, so whatever. Well, the next day, she came to my banquet with me to this military function. Then we went out, had an awesome time. Then I was like, you come hang out for a little bit. We went to Wawa and just sat on the floor and ate Wawa hoagies. Sat and just talked about life until like we were just like
And watching Crime Channel.
and Crime Channel, like, but just talking, you know, and then meanwhile, like, I'm having my pilots and everyone I'm with is downstairs in the lobby, and they're like, ooh, you really getting it. I was like, no, like,
Just really talking.
no, like,
having
for
a
like,
conversation.
no, like, full transparency, no sexual shit, none of that, nothing, just like talking,
Yeah.
like
That's the
talking
best.
for hours. And that happened like has happened so many times where it's just like we can talk about anything
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
every night, and like from 9 p.m. or 9:18 when I usually call her, it's 10 o'clock here because Oklahoma time. We talk, and sometimes we don't. We just talk, and the phone's there,
Oh yeah.
and we're not even talking.
It's just
I'm doing,
Yeah.
taking a shit, cleaning my this, doing this, whatever, folding my clothes,
Yeah.
stubbing my toe in my fucking corner of my bed, and screaming "fuck you," like whatever it is.
He's done that quite a few times.
But she's there, right? And it's just like, even if we're not singing, it's fine. You know, you
it's
could
the,
be.
it's the energy though, man.
Yeah.
It's just the energy that presents itself, and again, there are some energies that people present to each other and they think it's real, and one person or maybe both are lying to each other. But I see the energy that you represent now, man, and I'm actually really happy for you because you're not showing this, but you were showing last year or whenever I saw you last, and like it's just you're in a very good spot, man, especially with somebody that does support the mental health side of things. Because I'm telling you, man, it's like having an anchor on you when you have somebody that doesn't support the mental health side of things, because you're fighting yourself and then you're fighting your partner at the same time, because you know now you feel insecure about telling them anything that's wrong. You know what I mean? It's a very big struggle, man.
there's so many people that have reached out, you know, actually more than I tell her, but like even females, like, and that are like, I'm like, it's so refreshing to see someone being so proud and happy to be with their woman.
Oh yeah.
And I like, I'm not saying like I was hesitant before, but there's a lot of new things in this relationship for me. I'm just like doing because I'm like I actually feel happy and proud.
Sure.
So like, why the fuck wouldn't I like display that? If I'm displaying that with my fitness, why am I not gonna display it with my personal life?
For sure.
And I'm like, I'm not saying for everyone to do that because everyone has their how they post or whatever. But if I'm gonna put Danny, the real version of me, out, that is a huge part of me. So I'm gonna have that out there, and I want people to see that, and I want people to be like, yeah, like it's not a cringy, it's not dumb, it's not whatever to be proud of who
It's
you're
authentic.
with. It's fucking human. Like, what? So like because in the fitness industry, it's like, oh, you're simping, you're cringe. Like, nah, bro, I love my girlfriend, and I'm huge while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Why not share that with the fucking world?
But it's in the fitness industry, you know, there are some people I never knew that were married with kids, and there's some people I didn't know that had girlfriends that they did because, you know, they keep that lifestyle on the side. But I agree with you. Like me, I'm a photographer and videographer, so like I love creating little cute videos of like traveling with my person, doing cute shit, and it's the energy and the feeling. You know what I mean? Like when you're with the wrong person, you don't even think about video ideas or doing stuff like that. When you're with the right person, you don't care about looking stupid. You don't care about, you're just being funny with each other. Like I said, man, I always say this, is that time freezes, but it doesn't. You're not caring about any parts of the world. Nothing, again. You don't care that you're missing out being at the club. You don't care you're missing out being here with people. You just care about what you and your person are actually doing, and that itself is priceless.
All exterior things are like removed, and that's how I feel. Like all exterior like things and people are removed when I'm like, you know, in my element with her. But like, I think the biggest thing you said is like, you're not afraid to look goofy or stupid. Like 90% of the time we look crazy. We're cross-eyed doing dumb shit, and like honestly, like beforehand, like yeah, I would think twice to post this shit.
Yeah.
I would think twice to even want to do it. And the thing is, the different thing is, it's like I'm not even thinking, I'm doing.
You're just doing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like today, like prime example today, I was like, I want to scare the shit out of her while she's driving. So I have the video on, like, let's take a photo, like cute, like fucking photo in the car. I'm like, huh? And I just screamed maliciously, and like she like damn near shit her pants because like thought I was taking a cute fucking photo. I was like, ah, and just
my
shit, like
armpits were really sweaty for about 5 minutes afterwards. Mm-hmm.
But it was just like I think back, or I think about life in the past, like not just like, and this isn't just single individuals I've been with or before. It's just in life how I've been. Like I've never like wanted to, and now it's like I just
know the feeling.
And you know you're doing, you know, you're grabbing that person's hands. You're not afraid of what interaction you're gonna get from other people around you.
You have peace, man.
Yeah, you're at peace.
You're at peace.
Yeah.
You don't care about anything, anybody's opinion. Again, and I tell everybody this, man. Again, I'm not that this happens to everybody, but there are people that will see you so happy, they'll try to self-sabotage you.
Yeah.
And that home wreckers, they call them. And there's some people that'll, again, I've heard it from social media. Oh, you know, he's with that girl, but he talks to all these other girls, this and that. It's not even true. There's just people that are just upset at seeing how happy you guys are. And that's why you guys always got to stay strong and communicate, because it's so much power saying, huh, my girl would never do this or say this. My man would never say this. And you know what I mean? And when somebody says anything negative about each other, like, all right, well, I'll talk to him or her when I get home, or we'll talk about it. But that's not Danny. Danny would never do that. And that's, you know what I mean? It's just having so much confidence in your partner speaks volumes.
You
speaks
in each other,
volumes.
too.
But you feel it. You'll feel like
yes,
it's the trust, the confidence. It's like I always tell that, like it's a refreshing feeling, and
it's the energy, man. The energy replenishes everything, and it just makes you, again, and it's almost like, I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just like a weight off of your shoulders of like your heart too, man. You're just like happy. It's just like such a different, intoxicating feeling.
You know what another thing I think about too, it's like through all the things that we endure and like go through during our day-to-day lives, work and shitty situations that just arise.
Yeah.
They may suck. They may suck during that moment or during that day, but like I still get to go home and talk to Carm. Like That's why I'm like, all this is so shitty.
Yeah.
But there's every single day or every minute, there's always there's that one thing
Yeah.
that fucking shits on all the other stuff, which will make it all fine.
Yeah.
And that is amplified in person, because now it's like, you know, long distance, but it's a phone call for us or a text.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like,
It builds up tension though. You know what I mean? I've actually been in a long distance relationship that was I dated a girl that was in Dominican Republic. Funny story was we were actually the runners up for 90 Day Fiance, and
Really?
we were going to be filming in October of this year. And things didn't work out, and it wasn't a bad breakup. She literally just said, "Hey, I just don't think I'm the woman for you. Like, I think, you know, we might be too different." And some other things happened between us, but we ended up just ending things as friends and, like, you know, not on bad terms. But I respected her for saying it, because I'm like, you know, I'm glad we didn't waste any more time if that's what it was. But I know the energy, man. Again, being in another country, I'd FaceTime her or WhatsApp her all the time, and I'd be going to bed early. I wouldn't be worried about going out, seeing my friends. So, like, the energy's there. It's different, you know. And when you really care about somebody, like, I wasn't responding to random people texting me from my past. Like, I wasn't worried about anything. I was just worried about getting what I had to get done, staying focused, staying mentally sane, taking care of my mental health, and then going to see her every month. So, like, I know the energy, man. And when you have that, cherish it. Never let it go.
yeah, no.
And again, I tell you, I see your posts, and just people know, even people that don't know who you are, they know you're generally happy. There's nothing that's faked here, and I'm happy for you guys, and I'm glad that you came here. I did tell her that we're probably going to go to K-Pot soon in Philly. It's an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue. I told you the last time.
Yes, yeah.
We're going to do it.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either this
We'll shit my
weekend
pants
or
on
when
my
you
house.
come back.
I told you, I'm telling you,
gonna-
man.
we're gonna
As
do
long
it.
as there's a toilet within like a 20-foot radius of the
It's
table.
$35 all you can eat.
I know, that's the
Ribeye steaks,
I know, that's
shrimp,
insane.
fish, chicken, pork belly, short rib. Yeah, man, we're gonna fuck it up.
We are.
We're gonna do it the next time you're here,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna get a workout at Fusion, and we're gonna
I'm
have
down.
short shorts on. It's gonna be
Oh,
great.
dude,
It's
hell
gonna
yeah,
be
my
great.
nutsack will be always.
I have an idea for us where we're gonna do a video where, like, we haven't seen each other in a while, and we're gonna put, like, crazy amount of baby oil on our arms,
Oh, like,
and we're gonna go like this,
yes.
like in
Oh, yes.
Predator.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, man?
Was
What's
it-
up? And then I'm gonna, like, lean in and be like, what's up, man? You smell good. What's going on? And you're, like, being aggressive towards me.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you smell good too, man. How you doing? And, like, we're just holding it for like 10 minutes,
veins just popping.
and then it's gonna fast forward to, like, the gym's closing, and then, like, the lights go off, and I'm like, all right, man, it's good seeing you. All right, everybody, we're out of here. I'm extremely thankful you came here, Danny, and next time you come out here, we're definitely going to get some content in again.
Yeah.
Everybody, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next, what you guys want to hear. Hit the notification bell. I don't need to tell you Danny's info, because he is that guy. He's famous. But I will have his information in the description down below. I will not have his girlfriend's information there, because that's off limits. But I'm hoping that we do more segments on relationships and mental health. And if you ever want to come on here, I'd be extremely
to.
grateful for you to do this. But we're out of here, everybody. I love all of you, and I hope all of you have a beautiful night. And Danny Swole.
Farewell, fuckers.